Qur'an translation from Ali Ünal. Audio prepared by Respect Graduate School. Verse 46. Do not argue with those who were given the book, save in the best way, unless it be those of them who are given to wrongdoing, and therefore not accessible to courteous argument. Say to them, we believe in what has been sent down to us and what was sent down to you, and your God and our God is one and the same. We are Muslims wholly submitted to him. Verse 47. It is in this way, upon the principle of submission to God, and as a confirmation of all the previous books and prophets, that we have sent down the book to you. So those who were given the book before, and are sincere with respect to the divine revelation, believe in it. And among those, people of Mecca also, there are some who believe in it. None could oppose and reject our revelations except unbelievers, those who knowingly cover them with falsehood. Verse 48. You did not, O messenger, read of any book before it, the revelation of this Qur'an, nor did you write one with your right or left hand. For then, those who have ever sought to disprove the truth might have a reason to doubt it. Verse 49. It, the Qur'an, is indeed self-evident, enlightening revelations, revealed by God and so able to impress themselves, in the hearts of those endowed with knowledge. None oppose and reject them except wrongdoers, those who cannot determine with justice and so act arrogantly in response to them. Verse 50. They say, why have no miraculous signs been sent down on him from his Lord? Say, the miraculous signs are but at the will and in the power of only God. I am but a plain warner, with no freedom and power to be able to do whatever I wish. Verse 51. Is it not enough for them, as a miraculous sign, that we have sent down to you the book which is recited to them? Surely in it there is great mercy and instructive reminder for a people who believe. Verse 52. Say, God suffices as a witness between me and you. He knows whatever is in the heavens and on the earth. As for those who believe in the falsehood and disbelieve in God, by rejecting his revelation and messenger, they are the losers who have ruined themselves. Verse 53. They challenge you to hasten the punishment with which they are threatened by God. Had it not been for the term appointed by God, the punishment would have come upon them already, and it will come upon them all of a sudden when they are unaware. Verse 54. They challenge you to hasten the punishment with which they are threatened by God. Surely hell will encompass the unbelievers with the reasons for them to enter it, and is bound to have them in it. Verse 55. On that day, the suffering will overwhelm them from above them and from beneath their feet, and God will say to them, taste now what you used to do in the world. Verse 56. O my servants who believe, but are prevented from living according to your belief, my earth is vast, so worship me alone. Verse 57. Every soul is bound to taste death, and then to us you will be brought back. Verse 58. Those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, we will most certainly lodge them in high, lofty mansions in paradise, through which rivers flow, therein to abide. How excellent is the reward of those who always do good deeds. Verse 59. They are patient in the face of the adversities they suffer, for the sake of worshiping God only. And in their Lord, they put their trust, expecting no support from any other power or authority. Verse 60. How many a living creature there is that does not carry its own provision in store, but God provides for them, and indeed for you. He is the all-hearing, the all-knowing. Verse 61. If you ask them, who is it that has created the heavens and the earth, and made the sun and the moon subservient to his order, thereby sustaining life. They will most certainly say, God. How then are they who oppose this revelation turned away from the truth and make false claims? Verse 62. God enlarges provision for whom he wills of his servants, and straightens it for whom he wills. Surely God has full knowledge of everything. Verse 63. If you ask them, who is it that sends down water from the sky and revives with it the earth after its death? They will most certainly say, God. Say, you also, all praise and gratitude are for God. But most of them do not use their reason to know the truth and distinguish it from falsehood. Verse 64. The present worldly life is nothing but a pastime and play, but the abode of the hereafter is truly alive. If they but knew. Verse 65. When they embark on a ship and find themselves in danger, they call upon God sincerely believing in him alone as the only deity, Lord, and sovereign. But when he brings them safe to land, see, they begin again to associate partners with God. Verse 66. And so, let them show ingratitude for all that we have granted them, and so let them give themselves up to the enjoyment of the worldly life. But they will come to know. Verse 67. Do they not consider that we have established them in a secure sanctuary, while people are ravaged all around them? How then? Do they believe in falsehood and show such ingratitude as to disbelieve in God's greatest blessing of the Qur'an and Islam? Verse 68. Who is more in the wrong than he who fabricates falsehood in attribution to God or denies the truth when it has come to him? Is there not a dwelling in hell for the unbelievers? Verse 69. Those, on the other hand, who strive hard for our sake, we will most certainly guide them to our ways that we have established to lead them to salvation. Most assuredly, God is with those devoted to doing good, aware that God is seeing them. Surah 30. Our Room, the Romans. Verse 1. Alif, Lam, Mim. Verse 2. The Byzantine Romans have been defeated. Verse 3. In the lands close by, but they, after their defeat, will be victorious. Verse 4. Within a few 9 years, to God belongs the command, the absolute judgment and authority, both before and after any event. And at the time when the Romans are victorious, the believers will rejoice. Verse 5. Because of God's help leading them to victory. He helps whom he wills to victory. He is the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-compassionate, especially towards his believing servants. Verse 6. This is God's promise. God never fails his promise, but most people do not know this, as they have no true knowledge about God. Verse 7. They only know what reaches to their senses from the outward aspect of the life of this world, but they are heedless and unaware of what lies beyond it and the hereafter. Verse 8. Do they not reflect upon themselves even once? God has not created the heavens and the earth, and all that is between them, save with truth, meaningfully and for definite wise purposes, and on solid foundations of truth, and for an appointed term. But surely many among the people are in unbelief about the meeting with their Lord. Verse 9. Have they never traveled about the earth and seen what was the outcome for those before them, who also obstinately disbelieved in our signs? They were greater than them in power. They cultivated the soil and mined it for minerals and water resources, and built it up more and better than these have done. And in time, their messengers came to them with clear proofs of the truth, which they rejected to their own doom. God would never wrong them, but it was they themselves who were wronging themselves. Verse 10. In consequence, the outcome for those who were lost in evil was evil, as they denied God's revelations and signs, and were mocking them. Verse 11. God originates creation in the first instance, and then reproduces it, and will bring it back in the hereafter. And then you will be returned to him. Verse 12. When the last hour stands forth and the judgment is established, the disbelieving criminals will be plunged into despair. Verse 13. They will have no intercessors in the beings whom they associate as partners with God, and they will no longer believe in their being partners with God. Verse 14. When the last hour stands forth and the judgment is established, on that day all people will be separated from one another. Verse 15. As for those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, they will be honored and made happy in a delightful garden. Verse 16. But those who disbelieve and deny our revelations and the final meeting with us in the hereafter, such will be arraigned for punishment in hell. Verse 17. So glorify God when you enter the evening and when you enter the morning. Verse 18. And proclaim that all praise and gratitude in the heavens and on the earth are for him, and in the afternoon and when you enter the noontime. Verse 19. He brings forth the living out of the dead, and brings the dead out of the living, and revives the earth after its death. It is in the way that he revives the dead earth that you will be brought forth from the dead. Verses 20. And among his signs is that he created you from earth. And since, then you have grown into a human population scattered widely. Verse 21. And among his signs is that he has created for you from yourselves mates, that you may incline towards them and find rest in them, and he has engendered love and tenderness between you. Surely in this are signs for people who reflect. Verse 22. And among his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and colors. Surely in this are signs indeed for people who have knowledge of the facts in creation and who are free of prejudices. Verse 23. And among his signs is your sleeping at night and in the day, and your seeking livelihoods out of his bounty. Surely in this are signs for people who listen to the voice of God's messages in creation and his provision for it all creatures. Verse 24. And among his signs is his displaying before you the lightning, giving rise to both fear of being struck and hopeful expectation of rain, and that he sends down water from the sky and revives with it the earth after its death. Surely in this are signs for people who use their will, reason, and understand. Verse 25. And among his signs is that the heaven and the earth stand firm, subsisting by his command. Then, in the end, when he calls you forth from the earth with a single particular summons, then, at once, you will come forth. Verse 26. To him belongs all that is in the heavens and on the earth. All are obedient to him in humble service. Verse 27. He it is who originates creation in the first instance, and then reproduces it in the world, and will bring it back in the hereafter. And that, reproduction and bringing back, is easier for him. Whatever attribute of sublimity there is, like existence, life, power, knowledge, munificence, and might, etc., in the heavens and the earth, it is his in the highest degree, and he is the all-glorious, with irresistible might, the all-wise. Verse 28. He strikes a parable from yourselves. Do you recognize for those over whom you hold possession and authority, slaves or animals, a share in what we have provided for you, so that you and they have equal shares in it? And do you hold them in fearful respect as you hold each other in fearful respect? Thus, we set out in detail the signs of our oneness for people who will reason and understand. Verse 29. No, indeed. Those who do the greatest wrong by associating partners with God follow only their own desires and caprices without basing on any knowledge. Who has power to guide him whom God has led astray on account of following merely his lusts and fancies? And such have none to help them to salvation. Verse 30. So set your whole being upon the religion of Islam as one of pure faith, free from unbelief, polytheism, and hypocrisy. This is the original pattern belonging to God on which he has originated humankind. No change can there be in God's creation. This is the upright, ever-true religion, but most of the people do not know. Verse 31. Set your whole being, you and the believers in your company, on the upright, ever-true religion, turning in devotion to him alone, and keep from disobedience to him in reverence for him and piety, and establish the prayer in conformity with its conditions, and do not be of those who associate partners with him. Verse 32. Those who have made divisions in their religion, whereas they must accept it in its totality, and become split into different factions, following different guides to falsehood, each party rejoicing in what portion it has. Verse 33. When affliction befalls people, they invoke their Lord, turning to him in contrition. Then, no sooner does he favor them with a taste of mercy from him, than some of them associate partners with their Lord, who has created them and sustains and cares for them. Verse 34. Thus do they behave with disbelieving ingratitude for all that we have granted them. Then enjoy for a while the worldly favors he has granted you, but in time you will come to know. Verse 35. Or have we sent down on them a document of authority which speaks in favor of their associating partners with him? Verse 36. When we favor people with a taste of mercy, they rejoice in it, without thinking of him who bestows it. But if an evil befalls them because of what they themselves have committed, look how they lose all hope. Verse 37. Have they never considered that God enlarges provision for whom he wills, and straightens it for whom he wills? Surely in this are signs for people who will believe and who will deepen in faith. Verse 38. And so, give their due to relatives, as well as to the destitute and the wayfarer. That is best for those who seek God's face, his approval and good pleasure. And those are they who are the prosperous. Verse 39. Whatever you give to people in usurious hope, that it may return to you increased by through the goods of other people, will bring no increase in God's sight. Whereas, whatever you give in charity seeking God's face, his approval and good pleasure, for those there is increase of recompense, multiplied. Verse 40. God is he who creates you. Then he sustains you by providing for you, and then he causes you to die, and then he will bring you to life again. Are there any among the partners you associate with God that do anything of that? All glorified he is, and infinitely exalted above what they associate with him. Verse 41. Corruption and disorder have appeared on land and in the sea because of what the hands of people have done and earned of evil deeds. Thus, he causes them to taste the consequence of some of what they have done, so that they may take heed, repent, and reform, and so return to the right way. Verse 42. Say, travel about on the earth and see what was the outcome for those who lived before them you. Most of them were obstinately given to, associating partners with God. Verse 43. Set then your whole being on the upright, ever true religion, before there comes a day which God will not remove from them, and none can prevent him from bringing it. On that day, they will be sundered apart. Verse 44. Whoever disbelieves, his unbelief is charged against him, whereas those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, they make provision for themselves of a happy, everlasting life. Verse 45. That he, God, will reward those who believe and do good, righteous deeds out of his bounty. He does not love the unbelievers. Verse 46. Among his signs is that he sends forth the merciful winds as glad tidings, so that he may favor you with a taste of his mercy, and that ships may sail by his command, according to the laws he has established, and that you may seek of his bounty, and that, in recognition of all these favors of his, you may give thanks to him. Verse 47. Indeed, we sent before you, O messenger, other messengers each to his own people, and they came to them with clear proofs of the truth of God's unity and sovereignty. Then we took retribution from those who disbelieved and were committed to accumulating sin. We have bound ourselves to rescue the believers. Verse 48. God is he who sends forth the merciful winds, so that they set clouds to move, and he spreads them in the heaven in the manner that he wills, and makes them aggregated particles, and there you see rain issuing from their midst. When he has caused it to fall on such of his servants as he wills, they rejoice. Verse 49. Even though a short while before, just before it was sent down upon them, they had been in despair. Verse 50. Look then at the imprints of God's mercy, how he revives the dead earth after its death. Certainly then it is he who will revive the dead in a similar way. He has full power over everything. Verse 51. But if we send forth a scorching wind against their land, and they see it, being dust-laden, as yellow, they begin, straight after that, joy, to show disbelieving ingratitude, as if God were obliged to always treat them with mercy, and it were not God who provides for them. Verse 52. Indeed, you cannot make the dead hear, nor can you make the deaf hear the call when they have turned their backs, going away. Verse 53. Nor can you guide the blind out of their error. None can you make hear, save those who, being capable of reflection without prejudice, believe in our revelations and signs, in the outer world as well as in their inner world, and are, therefore, ready to submit to the truth. Verse 54. God is he who creates you in a state of weakness, and then gives you strength after weakness, and then, after a period of strength, ordains weakness of old age and gray hair. He creates however he wills. He is the all-knowing, the all-powerful. Verse 55. When the last hour stands forth and the judgment is established, the disbelieving criminals swear that they stayed in the world no longer than a short while of the day. Thus were they habitually turned away from the truth, having always depended on their sense perceptions, false reasoning, and defective knowledge. Verse 56. But those who were endowed with knowledge of the truth and faith say, for certain, you have stayed until the day of raising, according to how God decreed in his book of creation and life. And now, this is the day of raising, but you were persistent in refusing true knowledge about it. Verse 57. On that day, their excuses will be of no avail to the wrongdoers, who denied God or associated partners with him. Nor will they be allowed to make amends, nor offer regrets to escape the punishment. Verse 58. Assuredly, we have set forth for humankind in this Qur'an all kinds of parables and comparisons to help them understand the truth, even though you bring them a miracle of the kind they demand. Those who pay no heed to these parables and comparisons and obstinately disbelieve will certainly say to the believers, "You are only seeking a false way." Verse 59. Thus does God seal the hearts of those who have no attachment to knowledge. Verse 60. So be patient. Surely God's promise that he will help the believers to victory is true. And do not let those who lack certainty of this truth shake your firmness. Surah 31. Luqman, verse 1. Alif, Lam, Mim, verse 2. These are the revelations of the book full of wisdom. Verse 3. A guidance and mercy for those devoted to doing good, aware that God is seeing them. Verse 4. They establish the prayer in conformity with its conditions and pay what is due to the needy out of their belongings, and in the hereafter they have certainty of faith. Verse 5. Those stand on true guidance, originating in this book from their Lord, and they are those who are the prosperous. Verse 6. Among the people is one who pays for idle tales and diverting talk to lead people astray from the Qur'an, which is God's way, without knowledge, and makes a mockery of it, the Qur'an. For such a man, there is a shameful, humiliating punishment. Verse 7. When our revelations are recited to such a one, he turns away in arrogance, as if he had not heard them, as if there were heaviness in his ears. So give him the glad tidings of a painful punishment. Verse 8. As against this, those who believe and do good, righteous deeds, for them are gardens of bounty and blessing. Verse 9. To abide therein. This is a promise of God in truth. He is the all-glorious, with irresistible might, the all-wise. Verse 10. He has created the heavens without pillars you can see, and he has set up firm mountains on earth, lest it should shake you with its movement, and disperse thereon all kinds of living creatures. We also send down water from the sky, and cause every noble kind of vegetation rich in color, scent, flavor, and fruit, to grow on earth in pairs. Verse 11. This is God's creation. Now show me what is there that others besides him have created. No, indeed, but the wrongdoers, who deny God or associate partners with him, are lost in obvious error. Verse 12. We surely granted wisdom to Luqman and said, give thanks to God. Whoever gives thanks to God gives thanks but for the good of his own soul. And whoever is ungrateful, surely God is the all-wealthy and self-sufficient, absolutely independent of the whole creation, all praiseworthy. Verse 13. Remember, when Luqman said to his son by way of advice and instruction, my dear son, do not associate partners with God. Surely associating partners with God is indeed a tremendous wrong. Verse 14. We have enjoined on human in respect with his parents. His mother bore him in strain upon strain, and his weaning was in 2 years. So, O human, be thankful to me and to your parents. To me is the final homecoming. Verse 15. But if they strive with you to make you associate with me something of which you certainly have no knowledge, and which is absolutely contrary to the knowledge, do not obey them. Even then, treat them with kindness and due consideration in respect of the life of this world. Follow the way of him who has turned to me with utmost sincerity and committed himself to seeking my approval. Then, O all human beings, to me is your return, and then I will make you understand all that you are doing and call you to account. Verse 16. My dear son, whether good or evil, if a deed should have the weight of only a mustard seed, and though it be kept hidden in a rock, in the heavens or in the earth, God brings it to light for judgment. Surely God is all subtle, penetrating to the most minute dimensions of all things, all aware. Verse 17. My dear son, establish the prayer in conformity with its conditions, enjoin and promote what is right and good and forbid, and try to prevent the evil, and bear patiently whatever may befall you. Surely all of that is among greatly meritorious things, requiring great resolution to fulfill. Verse 18. Do not turn your face from people in scornful pride, nor move on earth haughtily. Surely God does not love anyone proud and boastful. Verse 19. Be modest in your bearing and subdue your voice. For certain, the most repugnant of voices is braying of donkeys. Verse 20. Do you not see that God has made all that is in the heavens and all that is on the earth of service to you, and lavished on you his favors, outward and inward? And yet, among people are those who dispute about God without having any true knowledge or any true guidance or an enlightening divine book. Verse 21. When such people are told to follow what God has sent down, they say, no, but we follow that, the traditions, customs, beliefs, and practices, which we found our forefathers in. What? Even if Satan is inviting them to the punishment of the blaze, by suggesting to them the way of their forefathers. Verse 22. The truth is that whoever submits his whole being to God and is devoted to doing good, aware that God is seeing him, he has indeed taken hold of the firm, unbreakable handle. With God rests the outcome for all matters. Verse 23. Then whoever disbelieves, let his unbelief not grieve you. To us is their final return, and we will make them understand all that they did, and call them to account for it. Surely God has full knowledge of what lies hidden in the bosoms. Verse 24. We will continue to provide for them to enjoy themselves for a short while in this life. Then we will compel them to a harsh punishment. Verse 25. If you should ask them who has created the heavens and the earth, they would certainly say, God. Say, all praise and gratitude are for God, seeing that even those who associate partners with God feel compelled to acknowledge him as the Creator. That recognition indeed destroys the foundations of polytheism. But most of them do not know what that recognition of theirs implies. Verse 26. To God belongs whatever is in the heavens and on the earth, over which he has full and exclusive authority, and therefore he alone is to be worshipped and none other. God is he who is the all-wealthy and self-sufficient, absolutely independent of the whole creation, all praiseworthy, to whom all praise and thanks belong and are due. Verse 27. If all the trees on the earth were pens, and all the sea were ink, with 7 more seas added thereto, the words of God, hic decrees, the acts of all his names and attributes, manifested as his commandments, and the events and creatures he creates, would not be exhausted in the writing. Surely God is the all-glorious, with irresistible might, whom none can frustrate and whom nothing can tire, the all-wise. Verse 28. Your creation and your resurrection are but as the creation and resurrection of a single soul. Surely God is all-hearing, all-seeing. Verse 29. Do you not consider that God makes the night pass into the day, and makes the day pass into the night, and so makes each grow longer or shorter, and that he has made the sun and the moon subservient to his command at your service, each running its course for a term appointed by him? And surely God is fully aware of all that you do. Verse 30. That is so, because God is He who is the absolute truth and ever constant, whose decrees and deeds are all true and in absolute accord with one another, and all that they invoke as deities apart from Him is sheer falsehood. And because God is He who is the all-exalted, the all-great. Verse 31. Do you not consider that the ships run on the sea by God's favor, that He may show you some of His signs? Surely in that are signs to know Him for His munificence, knowledge, power, wisdom, and way of acting, for all who are greatly patient in adversity and greatly grateful for His favors. Verse 32. When the waves overwhelm them like a canopy of dark clouds, they call upon God sincerely believing in Him alone, as the only deity, Lord, and sovereign. But when He brings them safe to land, some of them are lukewarm, wavering between faith and unbelief. None opposes and rejects our signs knowingly, unless he is perfidious, ungrateful. Verse 33, O humankind, keep from disobedience to your Lord in reverence for Him to deserve His protection, and fear a day when no parent will be able to avail his child, nor a child avail his parent in anything. God's promise of the last judgment is certainly true. So do not let the present worldly life delude you, nor let any deluder, including especially Satan, delude you in your conceptions about God. Verse 34. With God alone rests the knowledge of the last hour, when it will come. He sends down rain just at the time and place He alone knows, and He alone knows what is in the wombs. No soul knows what it will reap tomorrow, and no soul knows in what place it will die. Surely God is all-knowing, all-aware. Surah 32, As-Sajda, the Adoration. Verse 1. Alif, Lam, Mim, verse 2. This is, the book which, it is beyond all doubt, is being sent down in parts from the Lord of the worlds. Verse 3. Or do they say, He, Muhammad, has fabricated it? No, rather it is the truth from your Lord, that you may warn a people to whom no warner has come before you, during a long interlude during which no messengers appeared, so that they may be guided to find and follow the straight path. Verse 4. God is He who has created the heavens and the earth, and what is between them in 6 days, then established Himself on the supreme throne. 2. You have, apart from Him, no guardian to whom you might refer the ultimate meaning and outcome of your affairs, nor any intermediary who, without His leave, can cause anything of use to reach you. Will you not reflect and be mindful? Verse 5. He directs the affair from heaven to the earth. Then the affair sends to Him in a day, the measure of which is 1,000 years of what you reckon. Verse 6. Such is He, the knower of the unseen and the witnessed, all that lies in the hidden and visible realms, and beyond and within the realm of any created being's perception, the all-glorious with irresistible might, the all-compassionate. Verse 7. He who makes excellent everything that He creates, and He originated the creation of humankind from clay. Verse 8. Then He made His reproduction dependent upon an extraction of humble fluid. Verse 9. Then He fashioned him in due proportions, and breathed into him out of His Spirit. And He appointed for you the faculty of hearing, and eyes and hearts for understanding, feeling, and insight. Scarcely do you give thanks. Verse 10. Yet they say, What? When we have been dead and lost in the earth, will we then be created anew? No, they do not really regard being created anew as impossible. Rather, they are unbelievers in the meeting with their Lord. Verse 11. Say, the angel of death who is charged with taking your souls will take your souls. Then you will be returned to your Lord. Verse 12. If you could but see those disbelieving criminals when they hang their heads before their Lord, pleading, "Our Lord, now we have seen and heard the truth and are ready to be obedient. So return us to the world. We will certainly do good, righteous deeds. Now we are certain of the truth." Verse 13. That is no more than a vain desire. If we had so willed, we would have given every soul its guidance, the route to salvation particular to it. But many choose unbelief, and the word from me has proven true that I would most certainly fill hell with jinn and humankind all together. Verse 14. So, you who willingly chose and followed the way of unbelief in the world despite our warnings, taste the punishment because you acted in oblivious heedlessness of the appointment I gave you for this day. We are now oblivious and heedless of you. Taste the abiding punishment for what you used to do. Verse 15. Only they, truly, believe in our signs and revelations, who, when they are mentioned of them, by way of advice and instruction, fall down in prostration and glorify their Lord with his praise, and they do not behave with haughtiness. Verse 16. Their sides forsake their beds at night, calling out to their Lord in fear of his punishment, and hope for his forgiveness, grace, and good pleasure, and out of what we have provided for them, of wealth, knowledge, power, etc. They spend to provide sustenance for the needy, and in God's cause, purely for the good pleasure of God, and without placing others under obligation. Verse 17. No soul knows what joyous means of happiness are kept hidden, reserved for them, as a reward for what they have been doing. Verse 18. Is then he who is a believer like him, who is a transgressor? They are not equal. Verse 19. As for those who believe and do good righteous deeds, for them are gardens of refuge and dwelling, as a welcome from God in return for what they have been doing. Verse 20. But as for those who transgress the bounds set by God in belief and action, their refuge and dwelling is the fire. Every time they desire to come out of it, they will be returned to it, and they will be told, "Taste the punishment of the fire which you used to deny." Verse 21. However, before that supreme punishment, we will most certainly make them taste the lower kinds of punishment in the world, so that they may repent their ways and return. Verse 22. Who is more in wrong than he who has been reminded repeatedly of his Lord's revelations and signs, yet turns away from them in aversion? We will surely requite the criminals committed to accumulating sins. Verse 23. And we surely granted Moses the book, as we are sending you the Qur'an. So be not in doubt of its reaching you from your Lord and your final meeting with him in the hereafter. And we made it, the book we granted to Moses, a guidance for the children of Israel. Verse 24. And so long as they remained patient, in adversity they met on the path of God, and they had certainty of faith in our revelations, we appointed from amongst them leaders guiding by our command, in accordance with our ordinances. Verse 25. Surely your Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection concerning the matters on which they, subsequently, differed, and about which they continue to be at variance. Verse 26. Is it not enough as a means of guidance for them, the unbelievers? How many a generation we have destroyed before them, amidst whose dwelling places they travel? Surely in this are signs. Will they still not listen and pay heed to warnings revealed directly and in these signs? Verse 27. Do they not consider that we drive the rain to the dry land, bare of vegetation, and bring forth with it crops, of which their cattle and they themselves eat? Will they still not see the truth? Verse 28. Instead, they say, throwing out a challenge, when will this judgment take place, which will cause everything to appear in all clarity? If you are truthful in your threats. Verse 29. Say, on the day of the judgment, when everything will appear in all clarity, their faith then will be of no use to those who disbelieve now, nor will they be reprieved. Verse 30. So withdraw from them, do not care what they do and say, and wait for the judgment to come. They too are waiting. Surah 33, Al-Ahzab, the Allies, verse 1. O most illustrious Prophet, keep your duty to God in utmost reverence for Him and piety, and pay no heed to the offers of the unbelievers and hypocrites. Surely God is all-knowing, all-wise. Verse 2. Follow what is revealed to you from your Lord. Surely God is fully aware of all that you do. Verse 3. And put your trust in God. God suffices as one on whom to rely and to whom to refer all affairs. Verse 4. God has not made for any man two hearts within his body, one to be assigned for belief in and worship of him, and the other to belief in and worship of others. Nor has he made your wives, whom you may declare to be unlawful to you, as your mother's back, to mean you divorce them, your mothers, in fact. Nor has he made your adopted sons your sons, in fact. Those are only expressions you utter with your mouths, whereas God speaks the truth, and He guides to the right way. Verse 5. Call them the children you have adopted, after their real fathers. Doing so is more equitable in the sight of God. If you do not know who their fathers are, then they are your brothers in religion and your protégés. So observe the duties of brotherhood between you and them. However, there is no blame on you because of the mistakes you may make unintentionally in naming them. But what your hearts have premeditated matters greatly. God is all-forgiving, all-compassionate. Verse 6. The prophet has a higher claim on the believers than they have on their own selves, and, seeing that he is as a father to them, his wives are as their mothers. Those who are bound by blood have a greater right in inheritance and charity upon one another according to God's book than other believers and the emigrants, except that you must, nevertheless, act with kindness toward your friends and bequeath some of your goods to them. That is what is written in the book of God's decree. Verse 7. And remember, when we took from the prophets their covenant, and from you, O Muhammad, and from Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, son of Mary. We took from them a solemn covenant, verse 8, so that he may question the truthful concerning their truthfulness and all that which was entrusted to them. And he has prepared a painful punishment for the unbelievers. Verse 9. O you who believe, remember God's favor on you when hosts of the enemy came down on you, and we sent against them a fierce, freezing wind and heavenly hosts that you could not see. And God saw all that you did. Verse 10. Remember, when they came upon you from above you, from the east, and from below you, from the west, and when your eyes turned dull, and your hearts came up to the throats, and those of weak faith among you were harboring vain thoughts about God. Verse 11. There, amid those circumstances, the believers were tried and shaken with a mighty shock. Verse 12. And remember, when the hypocrites and those in whose hearts was a disease at just that point in the situation were saying, God and his messenger promised us nothing but delusion. Verse 13. And when a group among them said, O people of Yathrib, you cannot withstand the enemy here, therefore go back to your homes. And a party among them asked for leave of the prophet, saying, Surely our houses are exposed to attack, though they were not exposed, indeed. They desired nothing but to flee. Verse 14. Now if they and their houses had been invaded from all sides of the city, and they had been asked to betray their faith, they would certainly have done so with but little hesitation. Verse 15. Yet before that, they had, in swearing allegiance to God's messenger, made a covenant with God that they would never turn their backs in the face of the enemy. Covenants with God will certainly be accounted for. Verse 16. Say, flight will be of no avail to you if you flee from death or being killed in battle. However you fare, you're not allowed to enjoy life more than a little while, only until your appointed time. Verse 17. Say, who is there that can hinder God from it if he wills evil for you, or if he wills mercy for you? They will not find for themselves, apart from God, either guardian or helper. Verse 18. God certainly knows those of you who are bent on diverting others from fighting, as well as those who, being hypocrites, say to their brothers, Give up risking your life, so come and join with us. And they do not join the struggle of battle, except only a little. Verse 19. Being very miserly, in joining you and reluctant to help you in God's cause. So when danger threatens in battle and fear comes, you see them, O messenger, looking to you for help, their eyes rolling in terror, like the eyes of one who swoons to death. But once the battle subsides and fear departs, they assail you with sharp tongues, being avaricious for a share in the goods thereof, the gainings of victory. Those have never truly believed, and therefore God has caused their deeds to come to nothing. That is ever easy for God. Verse 20. They are so fearful that they think that the Confederates have not really retreated. Should the Confederates come once more, they would much rather be among the Bedouins in the deserts and ask for news about you than remain in Medina and face the battle. Even if they were among you, they would fight only a little. Verse 21. Assuredly you have in God's messenger an excellent example to follow for whoever looks forward to God and the last day, and remembers and mentions God much. Verse 22. When the true believers saw the Confederates before them, they said, This is what God and his messenger promised us, and God is true, and so is his messenger. This has but increased them in faith and submission. Verse 23. Among the believers are men of highest valor, who have been true to their covenant with God. Among them are those who have fulfilled their vow by remaining steadfast until death, and those who are awaiting its fulfillment. They have never altered in any way. Verse 24. In consequence, God will reward the truthful ones for having been true to their covenant, and punish the hypocrites if he wills, or turn to them in lenience, and accept their repentance, if they repent. Surely God is all forgiving, all compassionate. Verse 25. God repulsed those who disbelieve still in their rage without gaining any good. God sufficed for the believers in the fighting. Surely God is all strong, all glorious, with irresistible might. Verse 26. And he brought down from their strongholds those of the people of the book who had supported them, the Confederates in their attack on Medina, and cast fright in their hearts. Some of them you killed, and others you took as prisoners of war. Verse 27. And he made you heirs to their lands, their habitations, and their possessions, and a land, Kabar, on which you never yet set foot. God has indeed full power over everything. Verse 28. O most illustrious prophet, say to your wives, if you desire the present, worldly life and its charms, then come and let me make the necessary provision for you in return for divorce, and release you with a handsome release. Verse 29. But if you desire God and his messenger, and the abode of the hereafter, then it is a fact that God has prepared a tremendous reward for those among you who act in a good manner, aware that God is seeing them. Verse 30. O wives of the prophet, if any of you were to commit a manifestly sinful deed, the punishment would be doubled for her. That is easy for God. Verse 31. But if any of you devoutly obeys God and his messenger, and does good, righteous deeds, we will give her reward doubly, and we have prepared for her an honorable, generous provision in paradise.